This tutorial is going to look at the idea of blogs, how to begin a blog, and maybe we'll have a little discussion on what a blog is. Really not a discussion because I don't plan on hearing back from you, but you get the idea. The idea behind a blog is another form of writing that we can have students do. But the way the blog feature works in Moodle, it really puts the student out there for the entire site to see. When I say site, that means everyone that has access to our Moodle site, being a baker, employee, or a student, they would be able to have access to a student's blog. So the kind of information you're asking for in a blog wouldn't be private information, or it wouldn't be something that you don't feel comfortable with being shared publicly in that manner. But I do find that from the standpoint of using it in the classroom, or using it personally, it could be a great way to communicate with students one way. And then also having students use it, it does something where they realize that more than just the instructor is going to see it. And so when you talk about writing and considering the audience and who you're writing to, they realize it's open to a vast amount of people. And I think a lot of times that puts pressure on students to do a better job. So it has some advantages and has some disadvantages as well as limitations. But in general, it's another way to create a writing exercise or a journaling exercise or some way to develop thought through text. So the way you set up a blog is it's done through your profile page. So when you're logged into Moodle, as I am here, you'll go up into the right-hand corner and you'll see it says you are logged in as, and click on your name. Now when you get to this page, you'll see that it has your profile page. And at the top, you see there's little tabs. One of the tabs is blog, so go ahead and click it. Now you see I have no entries currently. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on add a new entry, which you'll only see that if it's your, well, I shouldn't say that. You'll see that every time. But if you have entries already in place, you would then see the list of entries you have. So I'm going to click on add a new entry. I'm going to give my blog a title, okay, and you'll see it at the top under entry title. You notice the red asterisk by it, which means that it's a required field, so you have to enter something there. I'm going to give my blog some information here. This area here is the body of the blog, okay, and notice here, body of the blog meaning that that's where the information should go that you're asking students to put in or that you're wanting to put in to a blog. And notice here it has a full WYSIWYG. You can create hyperlinks out to the web, you can insert pictures, you can insert charts. Okay, it has spell check, so you can have an expectation for spell check. You can mess with the font color, you can mess with the background color, bullet points. It's a full WYSIWYG, so there's quite a bit that you can do with it. So once you've put your information into the body, you want to scroll down, okay, and there's some more functionality. You'll see down here if you want to attach a file, you could, simply by clicking on Browse, finding a document, and then attaching it. That way those who see the blog would then also see the document. So we'll go ahead and stick something on there. I'll stick an Excel file on there just so that you can see. Okay. Publish to. This is an important aspect. When you do publish to, there are two choices. One is just yourself, which means it'll stay private, but then it's always in draft form. Or the other option is anyone on this site. And if you're wanting to view what students are posting, and if you want students to view what you're posting, you're going to need to make it anyone on this site. If you come down below that, this is the important, a really crucial element to the blog that makes it functional for you. The official tags you don't need to worry about. That's something that's set on an administrative level. But the user-defined tags, what will happen is I'll show you how to add a tag menu to your course. And tags are a word or a phrase that captures the essence of what the blog's supposed to be, but it's also a way to track it. And this will make a little more sense when I show you the tag menu. So what you want to do is here, you want to be able to, if you're doing it for a class, you want to be able to designate a tag phrase. It'll make it easier to search and kind of collect blog postings later as well. So for instance, if I were to say, okay, everyone is going to give their tag sample 1, and you can do more than one tag. You would simply give a comma, space, and then sample 2. So you could give multiple tags. Okay, I would suggest that for the sake of a course, and if you're trying to follow what students are doing, you stick with one tag rather than have them do multiple, but that's up to you. Now when you're finished, we're going to click Save Changes down there at the very bottom. And you'll see now what it's done is you see my profile picture, you see the author, the date, and the time. You'll see there's the information that I put in the body of my text, and you see here's my tag phrases. Okay, and if you come over here to the right, you'll see there's my file. So, and you'll see here the level of sharing. Anyone on the site would be able to read my blog, click on my file, download it, upload it, see it. You also have the ability to go back and edit. So once you publish something, you can always go back and edit it. So if you want to make one blog, this long, continuous journey, you could. You also are able to delete here. And a permalink, what a permalink will end up doing is that when you have your blog, like if you're looking at all blogs on the site and you click on permalink, it'll isolate just that blog, and it'll give you an isolated URL that you could then link to. Probably not something you'll use much, but that's kind of how it works. Okay. Now here's the nice thing I want to show you why tags become important. So let's say, for instance, you set up your class and everyone in your class is supposed to use the tag sample 1. So I'm going to click on sample 1. Okay. Recent blog entries with this tag. Well, obviously mine is the only one, but if you've had all your students do that, the list of your students, so that you could see whatever title they've given it, as you see here, and you'd see their name, okay, and the date and time they published it. Okay, and if I were to click on see all blogs with this tag, it would then take you in and allow you to then scroll down and see all the blogs with that particular tag. So that's where the tagging becomes very important. It's a way for you to be able to track and follow what students do. If you assign these for that manner. If you're doing it for yourself and just a personal or a blog that you're publishing for other users to see and read, you want to pick your tags to be something that identifies what the blog is about, right? If it's about MBA 554, give your tag MBA 554, okay? So that's kind of how you get a blog going, and it's up and it's running, and anytime you want to add a new entry from here, you would just click on this add a new entry and you'd repeat the process we just did, okay? Now let me back out of this. So I'm going to go back out to where when you first log in, okay, and I'm going to pause this and I'm going to drop into a class. Okay, now I'm in a class and you can see the class is empty, but that's all right. Now, one of the things I feel, especially if you're using it within your class, there's some features that you can add to your class. Okay, they don't automatically come. It's something you add to your class that can make using blogs a little bit easier. So what you need to do is you need to scroll over to the right, okay, in the top right hand corner, turn editing on. All right, and over here, this is our right hand column. What you're going to do is you're going to scroll down to the bottom of the right hand column and you'll see this block titled blocks. And when you have editing on, you'll see add with a drop down menu. Well, if you drop down that menu, two things appear that I think are relevant. One is blog menu, blog tags. So let's first click on blog menu. What that's going to do is once your screen refreshes, okay, you're going to have to scroll back down, and on the right hand column you'll see now we've added a blog menu. Okay, now what makes this nice is that from here, if a student is logged into your class and they see they have an assignment to type something in their blog, from here they could click add a new entry and it would take them in to create a new entry, which is what I've showed you previously. It could view their entries from here. They could set their preferences, which really is just to be public or draft essentially. But then they could view course entries and they could view site entries. Site entries being, everyone in Moodle. Course entries being everyone just in this class, all the users that are associated with this class. And so it'd be a nice way to be able to track students' blogs and for students to be able to track each other's blogs. Okay. The other feature to add, again, I'm going down, I have editing on, I'm going to the blocks, the add drop-down menu, and this time I'm going to click blog tags. Okay, and again, you're going to have to scroll back down in the right-hand column. Now you see here, okay, there's quite a bit in here, and just say, so what is all this? Well, these are all tags that individuals have put on their blogs. Okay, the bold, those that you see that are more bold, more pronounced, and larger, that means they have more entries. The more entries a blog has, the more bold and pronounced their tag will appear as. Okay, so if we have, if you ask all your students to have sample 1 as their tag, well, sample 1 has 18 students writing a blog, it's going to be nice and bold and it's going to be out there in front. Okay, you're going to be able to see it clear as day. You can control this a bit by clicking on the hand holding the pencil, okay, the edit icon. So you can change the title of the block if you want to. You can adjust how many tags you want to display. Say I didn't want 20, I just wanted 10. You can determine how many days out you want to have, so if you know your students are posting within, the week, you may only do 10 days, or you may do within 30 days. I would always recommend leaving it as tag text as opposed to date tag was last used. Although, if you know your students, again, are posting on that Monday, doing date tag was last used may be another way to filter. Okay, and you would click Save Changes, and then you'll see if we scroll back down there, it adjusts it to where now it's only putting 10. So what I could do is, there's my sample 1, sample 2. Right? So by me clicking on sample 1, you see what it's done. It's taken me right into the blog I've created. And that's how you can use that tag feature. That's how you can use that tag feature to also filter information. Okay? So those are some tools to give you as far as another way to motivate student writing, so that you're not limited to just a forum or wikis or even papers for that nature. Now, how you use the blogs will often come down to the instruction provided with them, and the more explicit and detailed you can be and directed you can be in how you want students to use them, and stipulations such as what tags or even what title to give it will be important. I think they're useful.